Well, inside it, all you do is lift that off actually, and the two speakers and the capacitor there as well, which is, I don't know what for, but we'll find it soon enough. Probably a smoother of some kind. No, it needs it. But here is the wave change switch here. The switch bank is here. Now this is what's called a stacked radio receiver, in that it actually has 10.7 as a guess and 4.455 or 456 around there on AM. Okay, so it's here, round here, and then it goes over here, which appears to be the 8-put transformer side of it. It's transformerless, which is quite nice, but it does have a number of these Russian transistors which do tend to go open circuit or short circuit, so that is our first port of call. But before we do anything else, the thing to do, as always in these situations, is to loop. Always loop before you be a loop here. Very, very important to do that. Okay. Right, well, I think from the next place we'll look is this socket here, where the 12 volts is, but we'll start here like that. Yeah, and I'll put that where you can see it there. You see that? Yeah, you can. Okay, fine. And we'll see what happens. That's okay. That isn't okay. Okay. Right, well, that's okay. That isn't okay. And that goes to deck. Okay, fine. So if that goes to deck, then that goes to deck as well. And that goes to deck. So therefore, somewhere here there is a faulty component of some kind. Now, the Russian components generally are pretty good, but they do have, like the British and Americans, they do have some components which are better than others. And in this case, with it being doing it with the radio switched off as well, I think the first place we'll go, there's a little capacitor across the socket in the back here. So, so first thing we'll do is get rid of that. Like that. Okay. And that goes to there. And then to there as well. So with that off there, therefore, okay, well, it's not there, so we'll have to look a little bit further afield. With the thing switched on, by the way, and the meter switched on as well, we'll also get there, there, and there. Okay, so something is shorting this this unit to deck, and it's something which does it before the on-off switch, because with the on switch off it does it, and with it on it does it, and with it off it'll come off. Okay, it does it as well. Now, luckily for us with these sets, with a set like this, yeah, it's true that a radio is a radio is a radio. That I must say, but at the same time as that, I want to know exactly what it is and is not doing what it should be doing, because something somewhere is not doing what it should here. Because with it switched off, there should be no current at all, but it's a dead short circuit. Now, with a set like this that's foreign and about 1970 or so, you need to look at which way it's wired for two reasons. One, Russian sets, and some hackers actually, tend to have, shall we say, interesting ways of doing things. So that has to be taken into account. And on top of that, normally you'd think that red was positive, and in this case green was negative. Not always the case. It don't ever go straight off to colours, because it might not be true. Now on these at 12 volts, of course, the positive goes to deck. So there's positive, yeah. And like I said here, it goes to deck. Okay. So now we find somewhere to put the negative, and that means therefore that I think perhaps there, because of course that's that goes under here, perhaps to this switch here. But we'll check and make sure, because it's the best way to do it. By the way, I've got the power supply there at 5 volts, and so it shouldn't do any damage. I want to make sure that it is right before I go and do anything else with it, for obvious reasons. Now, okay. Now at this point, on the circuit board, there's this 12 volts thing on the back here, which I think is probably not what it should be. Okay, so that's positive. Okay, that apparently is positive. Okay, fair enough. That's what it says. So that's what I'll go with, because of course it says so. Now, also on this set, there's a couple of bulbs somewhere. So I'll find out where they are, and of course from there we should find a reasonable place to connect the. Or maybe we don't actually with that, because it goes to the on-off switch. Now the on-off switch on this is a switch here. Switch it off like that, and look on the circuit and find out where it is on here. I'm afraid it's one of these with everything on other wires, but we'll see what we can do. I think it must be here. So what I'll do, I will at 5 volts go and look at this here and find out what that does. So it looks actually as though this is not in the right place. This actually, I think if I was to do that and push them forward like that. Now at this point, therefore, with it off, there should be nothing anywhere on here. There's something there, but not a lot. Okay. Therefore, with it on, it should read something like, well, this one reads 100 ohms or so. So why that will be, I don't know. But what I'll do, I'll go onto, I think, here first of all, and see if that is the wire in question there. There are two others, but I don't know quite what they are. But it's certainly interesting because one of them goes up to the speakers, and the other one goes down here to there. So again, I don't know, but I'll throw caution to the wind and we'll try it out and see what happens. 5 volts in, and it's doing something because the speakers are live. So let's go up a bit and see what. Try that. That seems alright. Let's try. Ah. Not suggesting summer. That seems to be doing summer. Okay. Well, the lights work okay as well. Aha! Aha! Well, the piece of doing something, so it's obviously was that switch. So the next thing I'll do is solder it up without that switch and see what happens, because that looks to be about alright. Right, well,
and we will make sure that victims have the certainty of knowing that if there's a change of government later this year, a Labour government will honour that commitment.
A key focus for the inquiry has been infections picked up by patients who needed blood transfusions going back to the 1970s. Tens of thousands were infected with
right now, as far as the buzzing there is concerned, that might be due to the power supply, so I don't think that's a problem. It's a sort of occurrences anyway. Very little actually. Very little.
My mum was a champion of all people's justice, and I'm hoping all of the people who have been hurt and damaged as we have been hurt and damaged.
Well, that seems to be okay for now, but let's look further now, because there's certainly going to be more up here. Right, well, first thing I've done here is to switch clean and knock the volume control up and down and round about. And what happens then?
Be able to hand out an award to their favourite garden.
It's quiet.
Gardens and judging them to see
And it
if
does
we
the job
like them.
perfectly well. That, by the way, is VHF with the aerial down.
To be honest, the best garden so far
Now
has
then,
been this one.
the other thing actually with this
It has everything a
is
really
that
good
unfortunately,
garden needs. A place to feel calm.
Junior judges at the Chelsea flag.
that one works okay, as you can hear. That's okay. That's VHF, because that's long wave. But it doesn't stop down. Notice that one. Notice that one. Or that one. But this one does.
And a lot of
But it does need.
that virus, known as N1, farms across America, and we now know it's been passing between cows.
Needs some assistance as well.
Vegas doesn't always stay in Animal Vegas.
Now then, in that case, therefore, the next thing we need to look at is this control here, with all the buttons. Now, for that, I think we need to get this back off here, don't we? So, I'll look at the best way to do that with the manuals out. I've got a circuit but nothing else, and I'll get this back off, and we'll look and I'll see why it's not doing what it should. It probably just wants more switch cleaner actually, if anything, because these Russian sets, generally speaking, they work extremely well. Unlike the Western system, these, when you've got them, and they last for years. They really do. They're literally military spec, some of these, you know. And this is at the time one of the Rolls Royce sets of the day. We do come over here, by the way. So this was probably bought in Britain. I know that because the Russian VHF band and our VHF band are two different places on the dial. On this one as the British band, which we know. So this one is probably for the Russian outdoor market, as it were, for export, and it's probably come from Britain, from London to be exact. There was a place down there that used to sell them, and a lot of them were sold in electronic shops, particularly in Bolton, round here, around places like Shude Hill. Anyway, that's neither by. Let's have a look inside and have a look. This now is medium wave.
So then to...
It really has a lot on it, not. Sometimes I can pick up Radio Caroline here, but only on certain conditions. It's not there right now. That's Curry FM there, Curry AM there. That's Talk Sport. There's nothing down this end where the older station used to be, so...
Need more seconds, twos in there. Can't see many coming in.
They don't actually have much...
Don't be shy, celebrate your second place.
Don't have much on medium wave now. Shortwave 2. Long wave. Shortwave 3. And there, okay. Shortwave 1 doesn't come in still, but the rest of them do. So
next year, so about next, I think it's going to be really, really good. So we don't know what will happen, but he's certainly coming up.
That's okay for that. Now, in this situation now, this set appears to be working extremely well, especially for its age. Now, I know that a lot of people will start changing capacitors, and I know why that is. But at the same time, with these particular sets, all the capacitors in it are the original Russian one, every single one. Everything is as was, and nothing's getting hot, and it's okay. So I'm not changing any components because we don't really need to. That's all.
Body, you do your operation, you add your therapy on the cells in culture, and then you have to put them back in the patient, and you have to treat.
And that's long wave. That's FM, of course. So there you are. So this set is now working. It's slightly out on BHF, but I'm not too bothered about that because there's nothing up that top end I want to listen to. So, you know, I'll have the bottom end spread out slightly so I can get to classic FM and Salford City Radio and Radio 3 and that, okay, without any problem. So, now of course, the next thing we've got to do is sort out another issue, which is why it was sorting out down here. And I think actually the problem was with the solder on this socket here. Now, I'm not going to put that socket back in, but what I will do is I'll make sure that this battery holder thing is okay and up to scratch. That is obviously important for a lot of people. Like I said, this radio, positive ground. Always watch out for that with transistor radio. If you're not sure, ask or get the manual, because if you get the power supply the wrong way around, it can do things like shut the radio baubles for good. So always check that with anything of this era. Anything from say 1975 onwards, the chances are it's going to be silicon. But always check. Always check. Right, well, taking this thing apart and putting it together again is quite interesting. I'll show you when we put it together. It's interesting, to say the least. Actually, there's screws in the back which come out, and then the screws themselves have a blade in them, which also comes out with this. But anyway, always with a set like this, when you're not sure whether it's positive or negative, always check with the power supply first, which I've done here, obviously. Now, on this set, red is negative and green is positive. Well, that's because of not being British or what, I don't know. But that's with the aerial down, by the way, that. That's radio 4, long wave. We'll be using it soon. You don't get to very well in here, actually. And something else there as well. So there we go, that's okay. And of course, VHF. That's radio 3 VHF. So anyway, the current jaw on this, by the way, is very, very low, so I don't think there's any problem with capacitors at all. So now, what I'll do now is I'll put this battery holder back together properly, put batteries in it, reassemble it, and we'll get on its own with it. The power supply. Power supplies are very good for these sorts of things because, of course, you can limit the current, so there's less chance of you doing lasting damage. But to these sets, quite frankly, you won't really do that sort of damage because these things rarely fail. I have seen one where they did, but some idiot put mains across that, so I think we can allay that one. But normally they don't. So now it's putting it back together again, and after I've soldered it upright, and then it's ready to go, as it were. Anyway, first of all, solder the green back on there, put batteries in, and see what happens then. The set is now running on batteries, and it's running rather well, as you'll get here if I do that.
Do you know what I mean? You know, and it's not just Britain, is it?
Okay, so that's on batteries. Now, modern D batteries are a little bit longer in length than the old SP2, SP2 batteries of old, and so I couldn't get them in initially. So what I did, I took these out. These are the so there's that is one of the two negative connector springs, which I don't need now. So I decided the best thing to do was to whip them out, and then the batteries went in perfectly, and there you are. Now also with these, there is an interesting way of putting them together actually. Here on the back, here, there and there are these screw holes here which these go into like that. With this one here. But as well as that, they go through another hole on the back of the unit here. I just turn it around so you can see. There you are. Here, like that. And if you put those out with a big screwdriver, the back comes off as well. So these 4 holes are for everything. It's an interesting system which I've not come across before, apart from sets like this, but it is quite interesting to see. So what I'll do is I'll put it back together again, and we'll try it with it together, because as you know, anything apart together, there can be 2 different units. Believe me, they can. I've had it before, but always take something apart and then together, because it works when it's apart, doesn't mean it'll work when it's together. I should know, because this one actually didn't first time round, because wire had come off down here, which I've now taken it apart again and put back on. So let's try again. That goes there, and there. But what I'll do, I'll switch the thing on.
Let's take it off before the
like
election. These are bad news, do you think?
And turn that down so you can see. The reason why I'll leave it on here is because if it goes off again, we actually know straight away. That way we don't button the thing up beautifully, correctly and nicely and have to undo it again, what we did before. And also, I also like to put things together in bits like this. Now we know that most people just go and put one all the way, the second one all the way, and so on. But with this end, there's stuff on the back panel as well. And what I'm worried about here is the problem of stuff on the back panel shorting out inside. So again, you know, that one goes in like so.
You'll have a huge amount of money being spent by the government on hotels and what have you. And don't think that if the Labour Party gives 50,000
yeah. And so what we do now, you see, is we put the thing in gradual like this. That way, if anything is likely to do something like that, we'll spot it straight away.
In the UK, going to find 50,000 houses.
Labour's deterrent is to create this new border force and link up and team up with other partners.
That was not going in actually, that one. So I'll do the other 3, and we'll come back to that and find out why it's not going in. That might be a problem actually, but we'll put the other 3 in like that.
And how long does it take to train?
Like so.
The immigration field, at least a year. So you're not going to. This isn't the answer, I'm afraid. And all that Sakia has done is
there we go.
really upset the people in the small boat command, who now feel totally undervalued. And I had a comment from a former colleague a few days ago saying morale is at rock bottom.
Are those same people acknowledging that what they are doing is not effective, according to the government?
Well, what they can only do what they are allowed to do, what they can do. Now, unfortunately, we have no power, no authority to stop the boat. That has to be done by the French in France. You can't put British immigration officers.
Wonder why that's not going into there.
Stop people getting into the boat. That has to be done by the French.
Let's burn this very heavy for it on this radio. Right, we'll have a look in there and find out why it's not doing what it should be doing.
The beaches will go down because they've deployed more safe.
Oh, didn't it?
Well, Professor Menon, clearly tonight, Kevin.
Interesting that. I'll have a look at that and come back to it because there's something not quite right there. And yeah, there it is, a working radio again. It just wanted extra push, that's all. Nothing much else. But when you're on camera, things don't often go the way you want them to. But anyway, it's okay on medium wave. There's not a lot on medium wave these days, though, is there? Mostly it's VHF, so we go to VHF.
Video Nation's diarist, and for that I needed to get out of London. Time to travel 500 miles north in search of one of life's natural.
And there's a nice set of
despite not having a
VHF.
TikTok account. So we're currently
address. Okay. So we do get a lot of like
The mayor of Bolton was there as well, and it's just.
Was there any quantifiable data?
So there you are.
and right so.
There's lovely old Radio 3 there.
So this is Canisterrick Beach. It's the beach.
And this is Radio 4, of course.
Local hero. And over there
so
in
there
the
you are, it's a working radio again from Russia. This one was born around 1970 apparently, but it needed very little doing to it apart from volume control needed some work. And of course
the islands of
batteries and much little tiny things, but nothing much, you know, on the buttons.
My name's Ian.
But
fisherman.
Apart from that, it's okay. By the way, this has a
northwest coast of Scotland.
Two tuning controls, like I said, one for VHF, one for AM. Now, like I said, there's very little on AM these days. So you know, basically, predominantly is a VHF set, but it's a set of its time. It's a Rolls Royce of Russian sets in the day, so you know, and they did come over here as well. So, but anyway, there it is. It's a working radio, Astrad Solar. Like I said, in its day, it was and still is a very nice set. I mean, the weight of it to the point it really does. You know, I mean, I've had one of the problems I had with this actually was moving it around on the bench because it's so difficult. Anyway, it's working. It'll work even more when I've put the arrow back up.
Saying, okay, we'd like to send somebody
there you
else.
Go, yeah. And so there you are. It's like I said, it's working. And so it's a Russian radio. Now, as I said, although we call these things Russian radios, they're not. It's a U.S.S.R. And these came from Minsk, which is now part of the European Union. So, you know, you can to work on it. Actually, I've got a set actually with comes from Ukraine, which I need to go and look at. I might go and do that. But I don't particularly care about the wars on this channel or politics. I just care about mending radios, and we've mended a radio, one of many here on Steve's long-stay vintage radio workshop. I'll see you soon with something else. Hopefully, possibly another transistor radio. Actually, I've got a rather interesting one with a real fault in the car, so I might go and get that. But until next time, goodbye. God, whoever God is, be faithful to him. Keep fixing radios because it's the thing to do. And I'll talk to you soon. Bye bye.